You will make it through. The Fitrah is awake in you. With Karim and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The Fitrah is awake in you. With Karim and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Karim and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
This is the book. This is the book, guys, for those of you who have not yet purchased it, and it can be purchased on Amazon. This is volume 2. And tonight we're going to cover 2 other barriers. Yeah, 2 other barriers that can stand in the way of your Fitrah being ignited. And those barriers are vanity and heedlessness. And we're going to be covering pages 100 through 106. And by the way, there's over 600 pages to this book. So we got a long ways to go. Yeah, there's over 600 pages in this book. So we got a ways to go. All right. But before we get to the barrier of vanity and heedlessness, I have one question from yesterday. I just told you guys one of the barriers that we spoke about yesterday is the barrier known as, I'm not going to look at you sisters and y'all typing. They got me laughing. They think it's so funny. They say that brother has been harassing them for the longest. Okay, somebody shut him down. You just got to lock the room. Like I have this room on lockdown where they can't talk and they can't turn their cameras on. I'll show you sisters how to do that after the program. Okay. All right. So we spoke about how the your subconscious can be a barrier to igniting your Fitrah. Let me, I have one question. I want to make sure you sisters understand how it can be a barrier. Let me ask this question. Here we go. How does a person's subconscious serve as a barrier between his or her Fitrah being ignited? Who can give us an example? Remember, for us women, I'm going to give y'all a clue as to how to answer. The subconscious is, for us, our PMS. When you're young, then it never goes away. When we get old, it's menopause. How does, and it's our, what is the effect that PMS and menopause would have on us emotionally, hormonally? Who can give us an example as to how our subconscious, due to PMS, our subconscious, due to menopause, can stand between our Fitrah being ignited? Give me an example as to how it can affect it. Go ahead, sisters.
One example, of course, since there's fluctuation in hormones, you know, our feelings are everywhere. We're erratic. We scream. You know, we say things that we don't mean. You know, whether it's the people around us, our husband, our kids, and this is one major thing that that keeps us separated from that. We have these thoughts in our head. We get depressed. You know, it's just ingratitude. There's a lot of things that happen at this time for us women. So that's just some example.
Exactly. Number one, you get they screaming and hollering and yelling. Oh my God. How many of us, when it's that time of month, you scream, you holler, your temper is short. You end up saying things to the kids. You yell at the kids. You say hurtful things to your husband. You say hurtful things. That one hadith that the prophet used as an example. How many times you get, your PMS and you tell your husband, you never do anything good for me. You never do anything for me. That's PMS. You don't mean that. But your emotions are all over the place. Your husband can do all the good things in the world for you. But when you PMS and you say, you never do anything for me. You never love me. You don't care about me. We say hurtful things. That's emotional. Your emotions are all over the place. Give me something with the subconscious. Subconscious dealing with the brain. Okay, now she gave us an emotional example. Okay, how emotionally, make it more subconsciously. The older sisters probably can know what I'm hitting at. Come on, give me some more examples. Make it more subconscious. Okay, Pamela, your mind's give me an example of it. Give me an example of how it affects your mind, Pamela. Subconscious is your mind, exactly. Give me an example as to how your mind, your subconscious is your brain, your mind. Give me an example as to how your minds are off and on. Give me an example. Give me an example, Sister S, about how you believe negative thoughts. Give me an example. Give me an example of that. That's subconscious. Give me an example of it, though. Aisha gave us a lot of examples. When y'all look at all the stories of Aisha that I went over, give me examples of it.
With doubt and forgetfulness?
No, listen to subconscious. Believe, like she just said, believing negative thoughts. Give me examples. Come on, y'all. You women have done this. You women do it. We do it.
Self-doubt. Yeah, self-doubt.
No. Y'all talking about self-doubt. I want a real life example. Give me an example of believing negative thoughts.
Like you think.
Give me, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Sakina said imagining things or people are doing or plotting. Give me an example of that. Y'all know what I mean when I say give me an example? Give an example.
Your mind goes and say, why my husband working late? He might be seeing another woman.
Exactly. Something like that. Our subconscious. That's deep. You can imagine that your husband is having an affair with a woman when he ain't. That's deep. I want y'all to make it real. The subconscious, the mind is a powerful tool. When a woman is PMSing, when a woman is menopausing, you can actually imagine and believe that your husband is working late and having an affair with a woman on the job when he's really at work doing overtime. I want y'all to make this stuff real. Exactly. You can actually be imagining that your husband is at a bar drinking, and you can believe it. That your husband is instead of him being at the mosque praying Taraweeh prayer, your subconscious shaitan can make you imagine that instead of being at the mosque performing the Taraweeh prayer, that your husband went to the mosque, married some other woman, and he done left the country and is on a honeymoon. That's how serious the subconscious is, and you can actually believe these things. This is deep. Shaitan, your personal jinn, can make you actually believe that stuff, guys. I get phone calls from women who are menopausing, I get phone calls from sisters who suffer with PMS and they don't come to my classes. Some of you, I'm not calling names, but some of you who call yourself students of mine, but you're not my students because you don't come to my classes. You are people who used to come to my classes years ago, but you stopped coming for whatever reasons. They'll call me up on the phone. I haven't seen them in a class in 4 years. They'll call me and say, Sister Laila, I believe my husband has married another woman because I haven't heard from him. 3 days a week, I don't hear from him. He says he's at work, but I don't believe he's working because he doesn't call me at night to see how I'm doing. That's how bad the subconscious is. And I have to tell a sister, you ain't been to my classes. Your Fitrah has become dim. You have become so far from being the way you used to be that Shaitan has put a grip on you. I see this a lot from a lot of people who used to come to my classes and don't come no more. And their husbands be like, Sister Laila, she's tripping. She's tripping because I don't call her when I'm at work. I can't call her. We got a policy on the job. They actually time us. They can track us on the phone. I can't call her on the phone at work. We got a union contract. And I used to be a union steward, so I know they ain't lying. So the subconscious is a big barrier between your Fitrah. Okay? Do y'all get it now? So yes, emotions, loneliness, depression, all of that can serve as a barrier, but also the subconscious. I see that from you sisters a lot as a female dyer. And then when y'all don't get the answers from me, what do y'all do? Can anybody tell me what they do when these sisters call me and I end up telling them what they don't want to hear? What do?
They internet search.
No, they don't internet search. What do they do? No, hold on. Exactly, they call Jamali. What do they do, Anissa, when they call me and I check them and tell them, you women are crazy. Y'all need to come back to these classes as Sunnahfollowers because your Fitrah is gone because you ain't no student here no more. What do? When they into their voodoo, they call the sheikhs in Africa to do some witchy voodoo on them. And then they get screwed up more. Who do they call, Nisa?
Jamal Ali.
They call Dr. Jamali. Real stories. Real stories here. Subconscious. So for all you sisters that's calling Jamali with y'all's issues, you are in this category. Your Fitrah has dimmed because you ain't been in this website in years. Your Fitrah is gone. You got to have it reawakened. That's going to be our topic tonight, guys. By the way, for our Islam Q&A, we're going to talk about how to keep that Fitrah ignited. If you don't continuously, on a regular basis, seek knowledge of Islam, your Fitrah is not going to stay awake and it's going to diminish. And you're going to go back to your old ways, the voodoo, the sheikhs reading Quran on the phone to you, doing that voodoo crap. You're going to be worse than you were. All right. Okay. Thank you, Anissa. Geechee, where are you? Y'all just don't get it, do y'all? Good job, Nisa. Okay. All right. So today we're going to speak about two other barriers that stand between, that can be that can stand between your fitrah being ignited: vanity and heedlessness. Here we go. All right. Let's put this here. Let's talk about vanity or conceitedness. People who are vain, conceited, self-centered. These are all synonyms of the word vain. With its allure of self-centeredness, vanity can be a significant obstacle on the spiritual journey towards a deeper connection with Allah. It manifests as an excessive preoccupation with one's appearance. And we women suffer with this a lot. But guess what? A lot of these famous celebrity brothers are suffering with it today too. Okay? It manifests as a preoccupation with your appearance, your accomplishments, or your possessions. And it can lead you to seek admiration and validation from others. When you're consumed by vanity, the focus shifts from pleasing Allah, and instead it goes to seeking pleasure from humans. It's all about impressing the people instead of impressing Allah. And one of the critical challenges posed by vanity is that it takes the attention away from the spiritual path, and it puts it on the life of this world instead, because you become engrossed with your outward appearances, your material achievements, instead of worshiping Allah and pleasing Him. And we've seen this happen over the past 20, 30 years with Muslims here in America. Okay? Muslims who started off as humble seekers of knowledge. And now look at them. It's all about the fame. It's all about the limelights. It's all about the followers, the subscribers they get, the fancy houses they have, the big cars they drive, the dowries, $20,000, $30,000 dowries that they have. So overcoming this barrier requires a sincere shift in your perspective and also your intentions. It involves recognizing the temporary nature of this world and instead seeking Allah's pleasure and approval. And this is hard for people to do, because once you become attached to the life of this world, it's hard to detach from it. Because remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that what will destroy us is the life of this world. This is what's going to destroy us as a nation, our falling for the life and the allurement of this world. So we have to develop a sense of worth and self-acceptance based on our relationship with Allah instead of external validation. Okay? That's why I was telling you guys, you have to teach your children the things that I was taught, that we were taught back in my day. I grew up in the 60s. Back in the 60s, that was the civil rights period of America's history. When I was growing up, we were taught, self-esteem, self-love, self-pride. They don't teach that today in kids, I was taught to be proud to be Muslim, be proud to be different, be proud to be distinct in my religion and my belief, to stand up for my religious belief. They don't teach that no more today, okay? So we have to instill self-acceptance and stuff like that into our children, and true self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment. Back when I was growing up, we fought for the right to practice our religion freely and openly. I remember being in the first grade, and when my teacher told me to stand up and pledge allegiance to a flag, I used to suck my thumb. I told them no, and I had a hijab on. I said, no, no. I used to stutter. I said, no, no, do that. No, no, do that. No. And they tried to make me. I said, no. And I ran out to school and I ran home. And I remember my mother dressed in all black. My mother and my godmother, they put on all black. They had on abayas and kimars that came to the ground. They marched up to that school dressed in all abayas and kimars, and they said, we will not. My daughter does not pledge allegiance to no flag or no country. Her allegiance is to Allah and to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she told them, if you ever try to make my daughter pledge allegiance to any flag, she said, I will call the Civil Rights Commission and I will have this school surrounded. She said, with the Black Panthers, the Black nationalists, and every Muslim in the state of Ohio. And we now never pledged allegiance, ever, to no flag. And that was in the 60s. We fought for that right. We fought for that right. Okay? Kids don't fight for nothing today. Muslims don't fight for anything today. Muslims are too busy blending in to be accepted, to be as the Kafirs. So we have to develop a sense of worth and self-acceptance based on our relationship with Allah, instead of seeking external validation. We have to engage in worship such as prayer, remembrance of Allah, and acts of kindness, because these things strengthen the connection between the person and Allah. So vanity, until we get rid of that outward arrogance, that outward vanity, you will never be able to awaken the heart. Also, another barrier is heedlessness. Heedlessness entails being excessively consumed by worldly pursuits and desires without thinking about the hereafter. And again, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this will be our destruction. We will be so consumed with the desires of this world that we won't even care about the hereafter or think about it. Okay? This is a dangerous barrier because it prevents spiritual growth and connection with Allah. It occurs when we neglect our duties towards Allah. We fail to pray. We fail to fast during Ramadan. We put the life of this world before the hereafter. Like we see today, Muslim women and men, having relationships outside of marriage. Muslim and women and men dating. There's no dating in Islam. And instead of looking for a husband and wife the way the Prophet taught us to, by going through your guardian, your wali, you got a Muslim dating app. That's an oxymoron. There's no such thing as a Muslim dating app. That's haram. We don't have Muslim dating apps. Muslim and women and men are not allowed to be alone. They're not allowed to talk without a third party present. So we have to practice mindfulness. We have to engage in the laws of Allah, the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We cannot sit there and compromise our laws, our rules, our guidelines to blend in and be like the kuffar, subhanallah. We cannot be heedless to Allah's rules. Listen to this hadith here. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the trust descended in the innermost part of the heart of man. And then the Quran was revealed, and the men learned the Quran, and they learned the sunnah. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talked about the removal of trust. He said man would go to sleep and the trust will be taken away from his heart, leaving just a faint mark of it. This hadith speaks about the impact of heedlessness on us as a nation. In the beginning, we would learn the truth about Islam, and we would consume it, we'd practice it, we'd live the Quran, we'd live the Sunnah. And then as time goes by, we would become weak. We would only practice bits and pieces of it, to the point whereas only a faint impression of the truth would be practiced and implemented in our lives. And we see that happening today. We're tweaking Islam. We're tweaking the rules. We're doing the same thing that the Prophet said we would do. We're imitating the Christians and Jews, changing the religion, tweaking it here, tweaking it there, making things lawful that Allah made unlawful, and vice versa. Where there is no trust left, the Amanah, the Quran, the Sunnah is disappearing from the hearts. So again, we have to remain vigilant against the distractions and heedlessness that can dull our spiritual awareness, by maintaining that connection between the truth that's embedded within our hearts and the guidance that Allah has given us through the Quran and the authentic hadiths. That's how we can preserve and enhance our state of certainty and conviction. As Allah tells us in the interpretation of the meaning, say, I exhort you only to one thing, and that is that you stand for Allah's sake in twos and singly, and ponder there is no madness in your fellow citizen Muhammad. He is only a warner to you before severe punishment. So here we can see in this verse, Allah is highlighting the call to rise and awaken for the sake of Allah. It emphasizes the importance of heeding to Allah's call individually and collectively. Allah is urging us to reflect upon the meaning of this call. This verse clarifies that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent as a warner. He wasn't crazy. He told us what to stay away from, what to do, how to live our lives. We should follow him, abide by what he said, not sit around tweaking it, changing it to fit society. Subhanallah. We should never allow our hearts to be occupied with evil things. The Prophet told us all the things that would bring us close to Allah. He also warned us against those things that will bring us close to the hellfire. All we have to do is follow him and obey him, not sit around tweaking and changing these things. You want to keep your heart awakened? You want to keep your fitrah alive? Then obey him, follow him. He's the life coach for the Muslim. His coaching never gets old. His coaching is never rusty. He's never going to lead you down the bad tracks of life. All we have to do is follow him. But unfortunately, we rather listen to the men and women of today. We rather listen to the murderers and the criminals of today.